We are in the house today. We've already done so much, guys. We just had Parisa, co-founder of Basma Beauty here. I'm going to do a formal intro, but we've done what's in your bag session right now. We've done a fit check, and now we're on to the podcast. So let me introduce you to her. This episode is going to be all about beauty, because I know you guys are waiting to hear her tips and tricks. They're actually pretty funny. And they're so real, so I love that. And we're going to talk about resilience. We're going to talk about, of course, building a brand, because I know that's what everyone wants to ask you, but we're actually going to get into other things, okay? So let me do a quick intro on Parisa. Welcoming you, Parisa. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
You might have seen the new viral brand that launched in 2021. That's right, guys. 2021. We're not talking about 20 years ago, literally just launched in 2021. It is viral. You might have seen it on celebrities like Kim, Tyla, that is insane, and more. They launched, like I said, in 2021 with their hero product known as the foundation stick that I really want to talk about, that quickly grew a fan base to now their latest launch at Sephora with the blurring gloss bomb. Guys, this thing is actually not just beautiful, but Parisa's wearing it right now, and I'm literally going to go and buy this thing. It looks great. We're going to talk all about the launch and the bomb, and we're covering, like I mentioned, all things beauty, tips, tricks, and shedding light to building a brand that is completely unfiltered, raw and real conversations. More about Parisa. She is a mother, which I love. We're going to get into that. A founder, and has an incredible career that has led her to Basma Beauty. So welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
You look great. We talked about this already.
Thank you.
One thing I wanted to ask you, when I reached out to you through DMs, you were kind enough to be like, yeah, let's do it. But I want to quote this right here, because I think on an email when I was like, hey, Parisa, we're talking about wealth and wellness. Guys, this was her response. She goes, to be completely honest, I'm the furthest thing from being where I want to be wellness-wise and even financially. As a bootstrapped brand co-founder with 2 kids, my life is so chaotic. I have not heard a response like that reaching out to someone in a long time. It was very refreshing. Can we talk about that?
Yeah, because I was like, oh crap, like is she gonna like want an expert who's gonna be like, well, I have like, this many stocks, and I'm like, this is like a very polished but very disheveled human being right now. So I was like, I don't know if this would be the ideal candidate, but I was like, I love, like I've read your story, I've seen you on social. I actually know so many people that know you.
We both do. I know so many people that know you.
So I was like, okay, this is like a really exciting opportunity, especially when you told me what the podcast was about. But I was a little worried. I was like, did you vet me properly?
Yeah, I did vet you.
Like, do you know me?
Honestly, I think I was going to ask you, like, what is something you wish more people asked you about that they don't get to see? Because I feel like sometimes you just got to constantly like be like, it's not like that, but my life is actually messy, but my life is, not perfect like you guys think. What is one thing you wish like more people just asked you more about?
I think I wish people just asked about what does your day really look like? Because if you're like me, I'm on TikTok and I constantly feel bad about myself because you see other founders and other professionals and they're like, day in my life, and like I woke up and I meditated and I like wrote in my journal and I worked out, and I'm like, dude, like I am like lucky if I have 5 minutes to myself in the morning without having to make lunches and make breakfast and take my kids' clothes out, because if it were up to them, they would probably go in their underwear. So I'm like, I wish people understood that. I know, and we talk about it. We always hear, founders' lives. It's not glamorous. Social is not real, but you get sucked in after a certain point. After watching, 4 or 5 videos of different founders go through this glamorous life, they go to a photo shoot and then they go, they have a pop up, and then you look at your own life. You're like, mine is not like that. You're like, maybe everyone's life is really like TikTok friendly, and mine is just not. But I feel like more often than not, people's lives look like mine. And, social is just the best part of your life, or how you want your life to be perceived. But yeah, just ask me about my day-to-day. Ask me about like what I'm worried about right now.
Can I ask you that?
What are you worried about right now? I'm worried about borders. I'm worried about tariffs. Our products are made in Canada, but we're sending boxes to Sephora that are being held up. So we just shipped out 20 boxes, of which only 9 were delivered. The other 11 are sitting there at the border, and they require more documents, but our products are made in Canada. So
first of all, that's amazing. Yay, proudly Canadian.
It was important to Basma and I because we both grew up here. Basma currently lives in LA. She splits her time between LA and Toronto, but our warehouse is like 10 minutes away from where we grew up. I knew Basma from elementary school.
Wow.
She's my sister-in-law.
Oh, wow.
I married her brother.
I mean, I know that because I did my research. But yeah, how did that happen?
Basically, so I was pregnant with my first son. And at that time, I was working at a tech agency. And Basma was like, hey, like, I think I'm going to start a makeup brand. I mean, she's obviously so passionate about makeup. And I was like, can I join?
It was literally like
I was
that.
like, can I do it with you?
You're doing something cool. Let me
I know,
join you.
please. I mean, I want to do makeup. And, like, truthfully, I mean, like, she can't really say no to me.
It was like cornered in.
So she was probably like, okay, like thinking I would just, eventually go back to my job, but I didn't. So I stuck around. And
how long was that? Like since 2021?
This was beginning of 2017. And at that point, she was 1 year working into the foundation stick. The foundation stick took a long, long time. So yeah, I joined during the development process, which was like the best way to immerse yourself just because you learn so much about the world of makeup, which was not what I knew anything about.
Yeah, because your career was completely different than this.
I had like 6 lives before that happened.
Oh, tell me about these 6 lives. What were you doing before?
So it started when I was 6, actually. No,
really?
No, honestly.
What were you doing at 6?
So my dad loves basketball. And so the one thing I'm so grateful my parents instilled in me and my sisters growing up from the very beginning was do what you love. Do what you love, but if you love it, there's no excuse for being average because if you love it, you will give your all. So my dad would say, if you want to be a chef, let's send you to Paris and like you learn about all like the culinary arts and you be the best chef in the world. Like that's what you should always aim for.
Wow, what a beautiful thing to instill at such a young age.
Such a young age. And I'm so thankful for it. And I feel like I'm trying to tell my kids right now and they're just like, I'm like, ugh.
It's not doing the same thing my dad did. I know what you mean. I don't know if it's because we like overstimulate them.
Probably.
To my son, I do the same thing. You can do anything you want. Just put your mind to it. He's like sitting there playing video games. But I get what you're saying.
So my dad used to work a lot. And so when he would be home, he would always be watching basketball. And we used to live outside of Chicago, in a suburb of Chicago. And there was a man named Michael Jordan who was playing for the Chicago Bulls. And my dad was the biggest fan. And I used to originally, I would want to hang out with him. So I didn't care about basketball. I would just be sitting with him watching basketball. And then eventually I fell in love with the sport. And I remember it would be NBA on NBC. There was one reporter named Hannah Storm. And I thought, like, if my job was just talking about basketball, that would be my dream. And so I told my dad, I'm like, I want to be her. And he said, you have to be a journalist. And then that was it. I was 6 years old and I was going to become a journalist. And so everything I did from that point on was working on public speaking, working on my writing, any chance I could get to volunteer writing for the yearbook or like the local newspaper. Like that's what I was doing all the way up until I graduated and ended up studying journalism at Ryerson.
You're really lucky.
Yeah.
To have found what you wanted to do at such a young age. Do you feel like that saved you time from being distracted and not knowing what you wanted to do?
Yes. And so it's almost strange when people don't have that. Like even my kids, like when my kids right now and they're like, I want to play like Roblox. And I'm like, excuse me? Like, what is your passion? What do you want from this life? Like, help me. Like I send them to like baseball and they're like playing with the dirt and we're like, all right, like process of elimination here. But yeah, like I'm really thankful because in every part of my life, like almost everything that I've done is because I have a passion for it. And the minute I love something, that's my sign where I need to pursue it. And so many times I failed and I didn't accomplish what I wanted, but other times I got to experience these amazing things that a lot of people wouldn't have been able to do. And I'm thankful for it, for the good, bad, everything.
So you got into journalism pretty much right after school, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And where did you get your first job?
My first job, my first paid job.
Well, first journalism job.
First journalism job was an internship at CBC's Foreign Bureau in London, England. That was, we had to apply for it through the school.
You guys can't see me, my jaw is dropped. Like that was your first internship?
Yes, that was my first internship. It was my last year of university, and it was part of the program. You'd have to do an internship. So a lot of people went to different areas, like different cities outside of Toronto so they can get reporting experience. For me, I was really passionate at that time about world news. I was thirsty. I was like hungry for learning about the world and different countries and how things operate. So the minute that internship opened, I applied for it, and thankfully I got in. And it was such a good experience. I had never moved away at that point. It was a 6-week internship, so it wasn't.
But still,
forever.
so exciting at that age. Oh my God,
so exciting! I got to live in London for 6 weeks. There's always a caveat. I was like 6 weeks, but yeah, it was the first time where I felt like a big kid because I lived at home, living at Ryerson. I didn't move away. And it was after that experience that I was like, okay, this is not for me. So this was like that first instance where
the journalism,
the hard news, like the world news, like being like a reporter in a foreign bureau. Because at that point I was like, there's so many avenues of journalism. Yeah. Well, I should say my sports journalism career dream was like blown to bits because the Raptors were not doing well. So,
you didn't want to go somewhere else to do that? Like
no, I mean, I think at that point, so I will say I moved every 2 years of my life growing up. Really? Sometimes as short as like every like half
Okay, what
year.
Cities have we lived in?
Okay,
girl?
So we want to know that. Okay,
I do.
Right.
It's very intriguing. This was not part of my questionnaire, but I love this.
I was born here,
okay,
in Toronto, and then I did kindergarten and half of grade 1 in Wilton, Connecticut.
Your dad? I'm assuming your dad's
my
job?
dad.
Okay.
My dad. And it's really funny because I was like born here, but they put me in ESL. I was like the only colored person for like that city, basically.
Parisa, you're
so
funny.
I don't know. So I was in ESL, but I ended up going to journalism. So who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe I got the extra help that I needed. And then I did the other half of grade 1 in a suburb outside of Chicago. Switched schools and did grade 2 and half of grade 3. Then moved back to back to Connecticut and did the other half of grade 3 and switched schools, did grade 4. Then moved to Mississauga and did 5 and 6. Moved to Richmond Hill, did 7, 8. Then moved to Newport Beach in California and did 8 months of high school there. And then finally moved back to Richmond Hill where I was able to spend 3 years in the same school. I forgot how we got here, but yeah.
So what did your dad do that made you guys move so much?
He was always in the corporate world. So he worked for Dell for a while. He worked at GM. So it was always like just corporate.
Do you think that added to your ability to adapt, obviously?
Yes.
And like, what did that teach you? Because that's so much instability, as people would call it. I've gone through similar experience. I think I've changed over 16 schools in my life. My dad was an entrepreneur, so we had very similar story. I don't have it calculated like that, but we moved, like I was born in Kuwait. The Gulf War happened. We went from Kuwait to Pakistan. We stayed there. Then we moved to India. Then we moved to England. Then we moved to the States. Then we came to Montreal. Then we came to Toronto. So I got to Toronto when I was 14.
Wow.
Yeah, I was 14 years old when I came here. I needed the ESL classes, girl.
Well, at least you probably knew like 6 languages.
Well, I don't know. And there was so much movement. And I always think to myself, like, I am who I am because of that early childhood experience. Because just the ability to make friends, be able to go into a new environment, not be scared, not be worried, and just be able to adapt, you know?
Yeah, I think it's like one of those sink or swim cases where I think for some people that would be really hard. But I think for, I guess, people like me and you just thrive in it because that's all you knew.
That's all you know.
You know, You're just like, okay, well, I'm changing schools midway and this is like normal after a certain point. But I think it teaches you to adapt in the sense that you find a way to relate to the people around you, knowing that at any given point you're going to be put in a different room with different people from different backgrounds, different religious beliefs, different lifestyles, and being able to connect with them on some level, I think is so important. And I'm very thankful for even having
I also think like now that I think where I'm at now, I empathize a lot with people, and I always thought it's because I'm empathetic and I have that, but I think it has a lot to do with moving around a lot. And like you said, different cultures, it's very humbling to see people in different countries at such a young age, being able to like that language barrier, come into their country, adapt in their ways. And so I feel like a lot of my empathy is built with the fact that I moved around a lot.
Of course, you're seeing so many different socioeconomic classes in like every country you're going in. And then even when you look at like our lives here and you see people who are freshly coming to Canada, you recognize, like you understand the struggles that they're going through.
Yeah.
I think, I completely agree with you. I'm sure you're naturally empathetic, but I'm sure
it adds a little bit to it. I think it adds. Okay, so now we're in Richmond Hill.
Yes, we're in Richmond Hill.
And we've been in Richmond Hill for a while. Have we?
Yes, we've been. Okay. I'm still there.
Okay, we're not moving anywhere. Are there any plans to move somewhere?
I have dreams of moving somewhere, anywhere. I find that sometimes I get the itch. I don't know about you, just because you've moved around. I'm just like, oh, like I kind of want to change, but at the same time, you know how the things that you've dealt with, you almost try to correct it with your kids.
Yeah.
And so sometimes I'm like, oh, maybe stability is important
100%.
for kids. But at the same time, I'm like, well, maybe it's important to make them uncomfortable and put them in scenarios where they don't have the comfort of their brother or us or their friends around. So it's
we're the overanalyzed generation, right? Our parents
so
just got up and left and it's like, come with us, and that's what you get. But us, like, will they be okay? Will they not? And that's just what we're going to have to deal with. And we'll see the kind of kids we raise. I hope they'll be great, you know? But okay, I want to go back to your, so you did that first internship and then you spent how long in journalism before you and Basma got together? What did your career look like? Because I know it was super cool. I was reading about it.
So I did the internship at CBC's Foreign Bureau, X'd out, moving to being like a foreign correspondent. I did an internship at Much Music for 6 months, and that was a lot of fun, but I felt like I needed something deeper. Like I was like transcribing, like, I don't even know what I was doing there.
Pop culture, music.
It was fun, but I felt like I needed something a little bit deeper. My first job out of school was with The Hour with George Stroumboulopoulos. I'm dating myself because this was like,
it's
I
okay.
think you have to be
I'm
like
there with
30,
you, girl.
35 plus at least to know what that is. But it was a perfect blend between like pop culture and like news. I absolutely loved working on that show. But I have this problem where I always want more. I was a production assistant and I was like, well, I want to be a producer. Like I want to ask questions. Like I want to make questions. I don't want to, charge computers for the writers, which was like one of my tasks. And so every day I would go, so we were all in that main CBC building. Every day during lunch, I would go down to the 4th floor where like all of news lived. And I would just walk around into senior directors' offices and just say, hi, like my name is Parisa. Like I want to be in news. Like, please, like if there's a way you can give me a single shift, like let me know. I did that enough that by the time this season of the George Stroumboulopoulos show finished, someone was like, okay, fine. I have a 4 a.m. shift if you like really want it. And so that was the start of it. I got one shift and then I was like, give me more. And one shift became 2 shifts, became a job. And then other shows started taking me on too. So like I would work in radio, I'd work for TV, I'd work in arts and entertainment. I was a studio director at like
That's a lot.
It was a lot. And the hours were crazy.
Yeah, I've heard.
I was saying that, like I would have to wake up. I'd have to be in the office for 3:30 at least in the morning. So I could.
That's like middle of the night.
Yeah.
That's
so
not
like,
morning.
I know this is going to be bad to say, but like for a while I was like, low-key gonna have a NyQuil addiction. Because I was like, I
don't blame you.
How was I gonna sleep at 7 p.m. in July?
Did you sleep at 7 p.m.?
No.
Were you able to fall asleep?
Never. Not without NyQuil. But my mom took that away, so that was fine. But no, it'd be really hard. And then also you're like 21 and your friends are like, oh, like, come, we're having a barbecue.
Like,
and
I'm sleeping.
I was like, I can't. Like, I'm working like a double shift.
But that's dedication, though. What did you learn out of your media and like journalism career?
You have to fight for what you want. Like journalism, nothing is given. You have to be clawing at it and be ready to sacrifice everything. And I think that taught me so much of my career after that was built because if I want something, like I will find a way. I will find a way to get it.
Journalism was like your
journalism,
prerequisite.
Exactly. Like it taught me to be tough. Like there's like if someone says no to me, I'm like, okay, like this isn't about me. This is about you. I'll come back tomorrow. It's fine. Don't worry. I don't take it to heart. Like I've been rejected so many times and like it doesn't even faze me.
Yeah. And do you feel like that mentality with Basma has served the company?
Yeah. I mean, that's one of the reasons why we got into Sephora.
Yeah. Oh, I want to know. Okay, let's move over. But there's so many places I want to go. I don't think I'm done with the first conversation. Okay, I'm gonna go back to Basma. But you talked about like, no one asked me my day-to-day. So what does your day-to-day look like right now? You're a mom, right? You've got 2 kids. You're running a beauty brand. And I loved how you talked about you watching other founders and almost feeling like, oh my God, am I doing enough? So battling and going through like the social media founders, what they should be doing, building a brand, being a mom, what does the day-to-day look like?
It's okay. So I should say both my kids still come in my bed and sleep with me and my husband.
Really?
So there's 4 of us in a king size bed. So my sleep is already like not the greatest, but
3 a.m. shift. You're used to it.
I know, it's fine. You can live without sleep. So it's honestly, before I did have help during COVID, which was wonderful. I had a live-in nanny, and that really helped me as I was building Basma before I had launched. And she is now in the States. So I am by myself now. I mean, most moms I know are, but it was a little bit of a shift from having to not worry about the household stuff and worry more so about the kids and job. And now I'm worrying about the house stuff. So when I wake up right now, it's, washing whatever dishes are left over. It's making lunches. Yeah. Making whatever lunch is needed, making breakfast, tidying up the kitchen, dropping them to school, going to the warehouse. I have 6 hours where I can throw myself into work, and then it's pickup. I do pickups, and then they have an activity every single day after school. So it's like me taking a call while my oldest son is playing soccer, and my youngest is on his iPad. And then coming home, cooking dinner, putting them to sleep, taking more calls after they go to sleep, and then hanging out with my husband for however much time we have left in the night.
How do you and your husband make things work while you're building and being a mom? And then also with his schedule, like how does the dynamic of the household work being married?
I'm very, very lucky in that I have a lot of help in my husband and my parents. My parents, my dad jokes around and he's like, well, I have 51% of your kids, because he will take them every other weekend.
Wow.
And I mean, my parents live like down the street from me. It's like, it's not even a 2-minute drive. But he will anytime I need my parents to look after my kids because I need to go somewhere, they will help me out. If I'm traveling from work, my husband is like on point, making breakfast.
Do it alone.
No. Oh my God.
No, and
not
like asking for the help. Do you find that as the business was growing, doing everything, were there points where you're like, I really need this and I need to tell you how I need it?
Oh yeah. Like I remember we were shooting the foundation stick photo shoot. This was in 2019, and I had just given birth to my youngest son, Noah, 3 weeks prior.
Wow.
And I remember I woke up the morning of the shoot bawling, saying, I can't do this. Like I had milk everywhere. I was tired. I didn't sleep. And I'm like, I can't do this. Like I cannot do it. And my husband said, I'm going to come with you to the shoot. You're going to be fine. Like I'll look after Noah. You do whatever you need to do, but I will be there. And it helps that Basma is my family too. So like she will help take care of the kids if I need to do something. If she knows I'm stressed, it's like, okay, I'm going to pick up the kids from school. Like you go do this. So I'm very fortunate in having so much help. And I have the utmost respect for moms that don't, who are doing it by themselves, or they might have partners who might not be as present, or they don't have grandparents or families. Like I don't know how they do it. Like I don't know how I'm functioning.
Yeah,
but
more
I
so
don't know
for
how
them,
they
like,
do it.
Kudos
I think
to
about
them.
them and I'm like, okay, like I have to toughen up. Like deal with it. Like this is my job. This is my life. I'm a mom.
Yeah.
I can't put that on pause. So like if it means, and I know these things are short-lived, right? Like your kids are older, that window where you're worried about them running into a wall, like that's my fear right now.
Going to school with their underwear on,
like hopefully those things will evolve.
Yeah,
and
they do.
Short-lived pain, but I'm very lucky to have help.
Yeah, I also really love that how you're just like, look, I wake up and nothing's perfect. I think, again, going back to it, it's a conversation, no matter how much I try to avoid it comes up. Given that social media is part of our everyday life and that everything overhypes eventually over time, the morning routines, the evening routines, the night routines. Do you have a routine?
No, my routine is like I get like 10 minutes. I get a shower where it's like no one is bothering me. And then I come out and then it's like bedtime. And then my skincare is like to be honest, like to be completely honest, my husband and I eat dinner at like 10:30. It's awful. Like sometimes we'll eat dinner in bed because we're both so exhausted. Like my oldest son, like his soccer ends at like 7:30. By the time we come home, it's 8:30. He has to do his homework, but they also want their second dinner because they're boys.
Do you feel guilt? Let's talk about that.
All the time.
About not having the morning routine,
the time.
not being more organized. Because that's something we battle with.
I have guilt in every single, like I sometimes feel like I didn't talk to my mom enough. My younger sister just had twins and I'm not helping. I should have been working more. But I was watching a podcast, I can't remember who it was, where they said you have to embrace trade-offs. And the minute you accept the trade-offs in life, the happier you'll be because you won't feel like you're failing. And I think for the longest time, I felt like I was failing because when I'd be with my kids, my phone would be right here. And I'd be like, okay, what's happening? What's happening? Did anyone tag us? Like, am I responding to an email? But when I'm at work, I'm like, even right now, I'm like, my kids have swimming today. Like, did I do the laundry? Like, do I have?
It's constantly.
It's constant. Like you feel like you're not 100% present in anything that you do.
So talk to me about the trade-off. What do you mean? If you say to yourself, for example, it's okay, I have to work. Is that a trade-off? Like I have to sacrifice this?
So for me, it's not being so hard on myself. Like not getting upset if today I'm going to be a great mom. I'm going to kick ass. I'm going to take them for ice cream. I'm going to listen to all their stories and I'm not going to take out my phone. But tomorrow, I know I have a heavy packed day, I might not be as good of a mom. And it's just understanding that you're always going to do the best that you can, but you can't be 100% in every part of your life. And I don't know if that's the same thing with you.
No, I was just going to say, I was watching Emma Grade.
Yes,
I think
Diary
we watched
of the
same
CEO.
thing.
Yeah.
I thought you were referring to that because that made me feel so good. And I said, I need to apply this more and I need to stop walking around with guilt. And when I got home yesterday, because I got home at 11 p.m.
Oh, yeah. You got home later.
Yeah, I got home really late. And I walked into my son's room and he's like, Mom, where you at? And I was like, I was working and it's okay. I'm actually going to be working a lot for the next few months. So I need you guys to pick up after yourself. I went downstairs. There was food on the counter. You guys need to help me out. And I think instead of being like, oh, I'm so sorry, I wasn't home today, that felt good. And if I didn't feel as much guilt, but also listening to another woman say, hey, listen, like you are going to miss a birthday. You're not going to, and that, no matter how much I accept that, it still feels really hard because I'm not getting enough time with my parents. And when it's what I wish for, I wish things were busier and I wish the business was striving. But it goes back to the conversation we had just before this podcast. Then you go back to like, at the end of it all, when I'm 80, what would I have sacrificed? And I'm constantly asking that question because to get to greatness, you have to sacrifice. But what am I sacrificing? Is it a little bit of time with my kids? Is it not attending that friend's baby shower? So like, how do you not justify, but what do you decide to sacrifice on right now where you're at with Basma? I would love to know that.
A lot of times it's the social life. That to me, because I when I look back, like my kids, my family, like they mean everything to me. And so do my friends. Like my friends have been part of my life since I was 11 when I was in Richmond Hill the first time. They're still all my friends. But for me, it's like I wrestle with that actually. Because like sometimes I think about like, I want to work so hard to give my family everything. But if I'm not with my family, and I just shared, like I had a near-death experience like 2 months ago, and it can go in a second. And I'm like, was it worth, like I missed my son's 5th birthday because we were doing a pop-up at Sephora. And I wasn't with him in the morning because I left early. I only saw him at like 8 p.m. and he was about to go to bed. And it made me feel really bad. But then at the same time, I felt really happy about what I accomplished. So I feel like I am my own worst enemy, where anything that I do, I'm not happy with. And it gets, further inflated when I look on social and I see a mom being so present and you say, you hear those things where they're only young once and like spend time with them now and work will always happen. And then at the same time, I have another baby in the business. So it's like, do you avoid that? Because that could ultimately, change the trajectory of how my family.
You buy back your time, right? And that's what we're all trying to do with our families. I mean, who wants to work 12-hour days, especially when the kids are young? You want to be there. But then the opposite to that is work hard and do the things so you can buy back the time later. And it's always that. I was having this conversation yesterday with Melissa. She's a money expert on the social. And she said, what I want to teach women is to think about their future self, because we're almost disconnected to our future self, as it's like it's a different person. So we don't, but you need that future self to have time, have decision making, have that, and it happens now. But creating that little balance, whatever you call it, the choices, whatever it is, but it doesn't take away the guilt, and it doesn't. I struggle with that all the time too. So I'm glad that we're not alone, and it's definitely a battle on a day-to-day, right? So you will sacrifice your social life, which I find is a little bit easier to do. But what about when it drips into your family life? Oof. Right? Like that sacrifice I find myself doing, and building a business requires that, because you're going to build a business, you're going to be out, when you don't want to be out, and you're going to miss out. How do you end up, for you personally, how do you end up making up for that, I guess? Is it then more time? Is it a day off, or is it just keep going?
It's always it's figuring out what I can take off my plate to almost compensate. I feel like that's the only way that
would work.
That's the only way. Yeah. Like the next day after the pop-up, I didn't look at my computer, and I was just with my kids. I think I took them to the park. We went for ice cream, but it was just I've learned to forgive myself. It doesn't take away the guilt, but I've learned to say it's okay. You're not going to be the perfect wife, the perfect mother, the perfect, founder, the perfect sister. You can't be it all, but there are going to be days where you will. And then everything else will take a break. But again, it's figuring out if I'm not going to be a good mom today, what am I going to do tomorrow?
What am I going to do tomorrow?
And it's funny you mentioned something about your future self, because it was only when I read the book. Have you read The 4-Hour Workweek?
No, I haven't. It's sitting in my library.
So it was the first time that book changed how I viewed my life, especially my future, because the whole premise of the book is you want to work smarter. You don't want to work as much because who wants to work that much right now? But it's set goals. How do you want to design your life? If you can think of what do you want your life to look like in 10 years? Actually walk through what your mornings are, what your afternoons are. What is that picture, and how do you work backwards? So when I look in the future, so much of what I'm looking at is financial freedom with my family. So I know that will require sacrifices. So back to Emma on the podcast, she said that if you're looking to achieve something extraordinary, it's going to require sacrifice, but you're always working towards that picture. You're not sacrificing it for the sake of sacrificing time with your kids. It's always the why.
That's very powerful. I'm going to read that book, and you don't get to think that often about that future self. What would my morning look like? What would my evening look like? And the other thing is, I think when I heard Emma, because she's so powerful and successful, it was almost like I realized we aren't also taught to sacrifice. We're taught to sacrifice, but we're not taught to choose our business and us over the things that we're supposed to do, right? Choose the birthday party, of course, choose the friends, choose the baby shower, but maybe working on your business can come later. And I have this conversation with my mom. Even my mom will be like, why? Just don't. Because it's almost like a woman to woman, we say it's okay to each other to be like, it's okay, don't do it. Maybe you should spend more time with the kids. So we haven't actually been taught to also work really, really hard so that we can buy back that time. I think men do. It's go work. I tell my son all the time, I even find myself doing it. It's okay, put in the time now and then later. But with my daughter, I'm like, did you take care of yourself? Are you taking the day off? She's working 6 days a week right now.
Wow.
And I always ask her, I'm like, can you take a day off? She's like, why, Mom? You're not telling Zayd that. I'm like, you're right. I am not telling my son that. So you know what? Work. Why don't you work? So it's interesting because sometimes I have to hold myself back because it's just years and hundreds of years of the same cycling, right? So it's just great to see that.
It's hard. It's really hard to navigate.
Really hard.
As
Honestly,
if being a woman was even
yeah, I know. I haven't even got to Basma yet, girl. So I want, if you could on a high level talk to me a little bit about Basma Beauty, how it founded, and now being a founder in the beauty industry, what that's like.
Well, the foundation of Basma Beauty is really Basma. I don't know if you know her story.
I do.
But long story short, when she was 2 years old, she suffered 3rd-degree burns on half of her face from a kitchen accident. And so she started wearing makeup at the age of 6. So like while everyone else is like riding bikes and like outside and playing, she's buying foundations and she's studying ingredients. And without even realizing it, she taught herself how to wear makeup, how to work on textured skin, how to mix colors to, cover up redness or any type of discoloration. So she absolutely fell in love with makeup. And fast forward, she ended up pioneering a skin procedure called scar camouflage, where basically you are creating custom skin tone pigments and implanting it into the skin to eliminate any type of discoloration. Yeah, it's basically she went to her plastic surgeon and said, hey, like I still have this burn. What else can I do? Are there any other treatments? The surgeon said, no, if I were you, I would just take your money and move to an island because like this is as good as your life is going to get. And Basma, bless her, does not take no for an answer. She said
Runs
no.
in the family.
Yeah, I know. She was like, so she was on a mission to find a solution to cover up her discoloration on her face. And so at that time, semi-permanent makeup was coming up. And she's like, well, if people can color their eyebrows like a deeper color, why can't, and we apply foundation topically, why can't we apply that same logic and put it into scar tissue? And she went to all the doctors, like the medical community here in Toronto, and was pitching this idea. And they all said, listen, scar tissue is not going to hold any pigment. Like this is not going to be a procedure that's going to work. And so she was like, well, I'm going to do it anyway. So she apprenticed at a semi-permanent makeup clinic, learned the technique. And then at that point, she had become a wizard at mixing shades to get that perfect match. She made her skin tone and then implanted it into her skin. She did a little test patch and it worked. She watched how it healed. And then she perfected her technique and did a little bit of a larger test patch all the way until she did half her face. And if you see her on social, she basically camouflaged her entire burn.
Dude, that's crazy.
It's crazy, yeah. And so like she is a bona fide like skin pigment expert. She understands working on textured skin, understanding undertones like blue undertones and all of that stuff. She understands mixing colors to match skin tones. Like she understands skin and colors better than anybody. So she created this procedure and she opened up a clinic in North York and people were flying from around the world. People were flying from the Middle East, from Australia to get touched up to have this procedure done by this like 20-year-old. And then Sanjay Gupta from CNN came and covered her, Vogue, she was on The Doctors, which is like a show out in LA. She opened up her second clinic in Beverly Hills. She would have members of royal families fly her out.
Yeah, because that's innovation. She's an innovator.
Yes. And so now she's in Beverly Hills. She has like 2 clinics. In Beverly Hills, she has like every celebrity you can think of come to her to eliminate any of their scars because they're on red carpets, if they have a birthmark. So it was after, like, I think it was, so she opened her Beverly Hills clinic in 2016. And it was then that she said, like, I understand skin, I understand colors, and I love makeup. Like, I want to create my own brand. I want to create a brand where, like, people like me can see themselves in it. It's approachable, it's innovative, it's effective, it's not complicated. I just want my product to work. And so that's when she started the formulation process around the foundation stick.
That's also such a strong why.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Like, I mean, you can't like.
No, it's in her, and so much of her story is embedded in our products, in our branding, all the way down to the people that we use for our photo shoot.
A brand like yours can't just go. There's a lot of people that have a really strong why. But there's something unique about you guys to go from brand story to brand innovation to going viral. And that the reason I use viral is because nowadays with products and brands, it can change the trajectory of your business and your life. And how did that happen? Like, I'm sure it was a longer process. At which point did you get involved and how did the brand get so big so quickly?
So I joined before we had ever launched. I joined in 2017. So we were still in the formulation process. And I will say the thing that helped us go viral is just how unique the product is. Mm-hmm. So at that time, there were very traditional foundation sticks. Sticks weren't really a thing. And any time
Who was there at that time?
I mean, there was like Hourglass, there was Bobbi Brown. They were sticks on the market, but they were more full coverage. They were a little bit more on the drier side of things just because they were fuller coverage. So sticks didn't really have a moment. And Basma, because she was constantly traveling, she'd be in Paris one day and then Toronto, she'd be working on people all over the world. She wanted something that was portable, that was like, again, effective and gave her exactly what she was looking for. Now, during the development process, something that Basma always hates and something that is still with us is there's a fear of someone coming to our brand and being like, this isn't for me. Like they don't have something for me. So it that goes beyond just skin tones. It's someone like you look like you have perfect skin. You will probably not need a full coverage foundation. You might want something that feels more like a skin tint. And that's exactly what this formula is. It is a truly buildable formula. So for me, I'm a tinted moisturizer girl. I want something that feels creamy and buttery. It gives me exactly what I'm looking for. But for someone like Basma who prefers a more full coverage foundation, it works for her.
So what, you can just build on top of it? So you apply it once and then you can continue to apply it and build that layer of coverage.
Exactly. So she wears the foundation stick. I wear the foundation stick. We have like some members of our team, they have more textured skin or they might have a little bit more acne. They use it. So it's very much like, here's a product, but you use it as you see fit. It's not a one-stop solution.
Yeah, I like that. So what happened? So you guys launched this product, but also I read that you guys were also in the Sephora Accelerator.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. So what
there's a lot to cover here.
Okay. So we knew we were onto something. Our photos from our branding, our packaging, like Basma loves pink. She wanted something that just didn't exist before. And we worked with an agency actually based in Toronto to help create the component of like the foundation stick. So we knew we were sitting on something. And our goal was we want to get into Sephora.
You just knew it. You knew it.
I mean, where do you shop? You shop in Sephora. Like we believed because we love the product. So that's something else I will say to entrepreneurs. If you don't love the product that you're working on, don't pursue it, because we believed in it. We believed in Basma's story. We believed in the product. And so when we launched, we were really lucky in that we started seeding it. So the minimum order, the MOQ, like the minimum order of quantity you need to buy per shade was relatively high. And we launched with a foundation, which is unheard of. Brands don't launch with foundation because it's the toughest product to launch with.
And 40 shades.
Yeah. So if you can imagine the sheer financial investment that had to be made to purchase all of those units. And we're talking about like almost like 1,000 units per shade. Wow. That's so we're sitting on that and we hadn't even launched yet. And we're like, so one of the strategies was we need real people to try it and share with their friends. Like and at that time we couldn't even pay for content. We couldn't pay for people to review the product. So part of our strategy was seeding it. So what
does that mean?
Like actually reaching out to people on social media saying, hey, like, do you want to try our foundation? And they'd be like, sure. And then we would just have so much faith in the product that we just said, if people try the product, they'll love it and they'll talk about it. And that's exactly what happened. People were talking about it organically. To this day, we don't really pay for content. Everything is, we're going to send you the product. We believe in it. You're going to love it and you'll want to talk about it. And that's worked.
Really?
That's worked. I mean, all of our growth has been organic. And
that's incredible.
And then to Sephora, what had happened was I sent a DM to someone super senior at Sephora Canada. Yeah, I sent a DM and from the beauty account.
The DMs go a long way, guys.
I know, it honestly
really
does
do.
Because I was just like, this product it's going to work. Actually, I lied. I didn't send the DM first. I sent an email to the GM of Sephora Canada. Just like a cold email. Hi, my name is Parisa and I'm the co-founder of this brand. And I told the story and I said, like, please, like, just get someone from your team to try it. And so he responded and he connected us to somebody. And then they were like, okay, drop off samples at the office. And this was before we launched. This was like, I think 6 months before we launched.
So you launched 2021?
I launched in 2021. This was like COVID.
Okay.
This was like, the thick of COVID. Dropped off samples to the office, was like, saying every prayer in the books about it. The next day was like that lockdown where no one went back to work for like 6 months. So nobody tried our samples. And I'd reach out through emails and no one would be responding. So then it was 2 months after we launched, we sent a DM from the beauty account to someone pretty senior, her personal page. And so she has like pictures of her dog and her house and her husband. And I'm just like, I'm so sorry for doing this. Like, this is so inappropriate, but like, please, like, I need you to give this brand a chance. Like, it is, I'm telling you, it's going to be something big. It's going to be something huge. And she responded and she said, okay, like email this person. And she connected us to them. We sent samples and then didn't hear from them for like a month. And then we got an email saying like, hey, like, we want to talk to you guys. Like, let's set up a meeting. And so we pitched.
What did that feel like?
I was like,
do you still remember that day?
It was crazy. But again, like I've been fortunate enough, again, because I'm so good with rejection and putting myself out there that like I expected it. I was like, it was gonna like I've done this. Like,
I knew this was gonna happen.
The Chicago Bulls made me an internship. Like, it didn't exist because I kept asking for it. So like, I think there's power in knowing that like this is where it needs to be. Like, this is the next step, and believing that it will work out if you're persistent. If you just shoot your shot once and then, sit back, nothing is gonna happen. And so we pitched Sephora Canada and they said, listen, you are like a baby brand. Like, there's no way you could understand how Sephora operates. You guys are 3-4 months old, but there's an Accelerate program and they just opened it up to Canadian brands. So why don't you apply? And the turnaround time was like 2 days. So we quickly applied, and I think Sephora Canada was like rooting for us. Yeah. And then once we got in, that's when things.
What does that mean, getting into an accelerating program?
So it's an incubation program.
Okay.
So Sephora handpicks, I think it's like 10 brands where they set you up with merchants and they basically help you, they educate you on how to grow. Like, what does it mean to be a beauty brand in this industry? What does it mean to be successful in Sephora? What are things you need to consider? How should you grow your startup? So there was only 10 spots. And we were the only one that had a foundation, which was really cool.
Wow.
I mean, it was our only product at the time too.
Do you remember who else was there that's sitting in the shelves too now?
Oh yeah, like almost all of them are in store.
Oh,
so it's been, and we're all still connected.
That's
we see each other because
amazing.
you were in the trenches together.
Yeah.
And so once we got in, it started January 2022, and that's when we started blowing up on TikTok. So it was like the perfect storm. We had like Michaela. I don't know if you know Michaela, like the beauty creator. She and at this point I will say we're a startup. We had 3 members of our team, myself, Basma, and my first cousin Ramesa, who handles all of our social. She's the one that's like, you need to get on TikTok, and I'm like, what is that?
I'm gonna get to that after this.
And so yeah, this one creator posted about the foundation stick, and we had over, I want to say 1,500 orders in a span of like 10 hours.
That's what they say, right? That one viral video can like just clear out your inventory. Oh, is that true?
It was like, it was chaos because we couldn't handle that. Like, I was still responding to customer orders. People were asking what shade they are. Like how can you shade match me? But we had to fulfill 1,500 orders. And that was just for like the first 10 hours. Like, then it was like, it just blew up. So it would be like my mom. It would be like a whole like line of people. Like, my mom was there, Basma's mom, my sister. We're all packaging till like, I don't know, it was like 2-3 in the morning. Like,
I feel like I'm in there with you right now.
It was crazy, but it was like, this is like, you're on, like, this is where you're meant to be. But again, you have your highs and then you have your lows. And
yeah. So what does the structure look like now, from going from 3 people? Where did you know what to build, how to grow? I mean, I don't know if you have the answers to that.
I mean, we've added 1 member.
Okay.
So there's 4 of us.
Oh.
And we still do everything. We are fortunate to have we have like a 5th member that comes in part-time to package for us. But other than that, there's 4 of us doing everything. Every single thing, whether it's talking to Sephora, social, community, web, emails. It's us 4 running it. And we all went to the same high school because like the 4th member, her name is Tina. Tina is Ramesa's best friend. And so like we all went, like it's a lot of fun. It feels like a family business.
Yeah, well, it's also family too.
It is, literally.
How did you guys get your product done? The Kardashians, Tyla, what is...
So Basma, because she's in LA, she was able to make a lot of relationships with makeup artists, but not even with the lens of her makeup brand, because at that point it was still in the formulation stage. She just, she loved makeup, and so she would connect with a lot of people in the area. And one of them was Raquel, who is now like Beyonce's makeup artist, and he has worked on all the Kardashians, and they just formed like a real friendship, because I think he was relatively new to the city too. So they just became friends.
So
and then
cool.
He fell in love with like early lab samples. He was like, this is so beautiful. Like, I love this. It's like a game changer. And then he would organically use it. He would put it in his kit. He would depot it and use
Was that a big moment?
It was huge. Like, because we didn't know about it until we were tagged. Like, it's not like
You woke up and you're like...
Yeah, no, it's not like he was like, hey, like Basma, like, by the way, I used it on Kourtney Kardashian. I mean, he had to get he has to get approval before he's going to tag anything. But like when we saw that, we were just like, hold up, like, were we just tagged in Kourtney Kardashian? Like, is Kourtney Kardashian wearing our makeup? And then like,
so cool, girl.
And then it was crazy. It was so much fun.
Okay, talk to me about the reality of running a business when it comes to finances and working those things out, being strapped, having money to do. What have you learned from business to finance, and how are you guys managing? What does it take to grow?
So we are a bootstrapped brand. And I think we're one of I think there's maybe a handful of brands in Sephora that are still bootstrapped.
No outside investors?
No.
Okay, is that a plan?
It is part of the plan.
Okay.
But I think for Basma and I, we want to be able to make mistakes on our own. We don't
respect that.
We don't want to, and we've made lots of mistakes, and we hear horror stories. And I think the Accelerate program was a really good window. It was a good opportunity for us to learn from other founders. And the one thing we kept hearing is get funding when you really need it. Like, if you can bootstrap as long as you can, and then when you get to a point that you can't, you'll know when you need to scale. But for us, again, we're still trying to figure things out. We have only 3 products, so it's not like we have a lot of products. But for us, it's learning what's working, what's not working. We 1 year invested a lot in pop-ups and events, and the ROI we couldn't track. And obviously, building relationships and community are really important. But when you need money to pay for the next research and development, like for the next product, you have to pick and choose what's going to be more important. So again, we invested in PR that just fell flat. Like, we lost tens of thousands of dollars on programs, on platforms, and agencies that simply fell flat, like did not come to fruition like what we were hoping.
Yeah.
And then we learn.
Yeah. And also organic content is really the star of the show, right?
Yes.
We forget that. I think when you're building a brand, you want to get the PR, you want to get the press, but you don't realize the power in organic content, and that's how you grew. Would you say so?
Exactly. No, completely. Like, we grew on the backs of people believing in the product.
That's incredible.
And building that relationship with them, because they trust the formula. They know Basma, like, they know her story. Like, Basma's not going to put out something that's garbage. Like, Basma, like, you'd be surprised how many beauty brands will
just innovate for the hell of innovating.
No, not even. You'd find so many brands, like, you work with labs and like chemists, and they'll have formulas ready made, and
plug and play.
Yeah, exactly. They're like, let's slap the logo, and Basma is like so against that, because how can you innovate if something already exists and other brands are already playing with similar type formulas?
Yeah.
So things for us always take longer. There's more of an investment. Packaging, the experience is very important to us. So those are the things we invest in heavily. And so, to be frank, like, organic is what we were depending on, because we don't have the marketing budgets to compete with, all these other brands in Sephora. So really relying on real people, like falling in love with the product and sharing it with their friends, is something that, we're really proud of. But again,
and you should be.
It comes back,
because every time I searched it up, that's all I saw.
None of those are paid.
I know, and it's incredible. Like, the amount of reviews, feedback, content that I saw, I was like, I'm trying to like find something, but all of it was just like, this product is amazing, and it just keeps on going and going and going.
We're very, very, very lucky, but I think it's hats off to all the creators who took a chance on
Yeah,
us too.
absolutely.
You know, they didn't have to open our package.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, that's the first win nowadays.
What about you? What's your role in the company now, from where it started to what you're doing now and focused on?
It's more or less, I mean, when we started, I was doing a little bit of everything. And I think that's really important when building a business. Like, I think coming from like a corporate world or where there's like more structure, you just assume you hire someone to do this, you hire someone to do that. And then like everyone focuses on their own little,
Doesn't look
little
like
pot.
that.
Does not look
That's
like
basically
that. Like,
the morning routine that doesn't exist.
You have to learn regulations around ingredients and how to even just tell the government that you're launching a product, to working with labs, to figuring out Shopify and building a website and photo shoots. We don't have a creative director. It's us being like, what do we want this to look like?
Actually, funny enough, the guy that shot one of your campaign, Justin.
Yeah.
Is that right? Yeah. We were shooting something else together. I know him because he's in the real estate world. And I was like, what a small world. He's like, yeah, Basma Beauty. I've done their shoot. I was like, and even for me, it's like, you think that brands that you see that are so big, you forget that they are running behind 2-3 women, working hard to put it out there, right? So it was very humbling when he said that. I'm like, really? You work with Basma Beauty? He's like, yeah.
Yeah, like for us, like we want to work with people who are passionate and also see like they're hungry and we're hungry. Because obviously we can't work with, like Vogue photographers because just
also content has changed so much too. So what is your role now? Like, are you doing a little bit of everything or are you?
No, I've transitioned to more just the overall customer experience, like really our website and Sephora.
Okay.
That's kind of where I play. And also like the community angle of it. It is a lot, but everything works together. So for instance, like Tina works a lot on the community side of things as well as like reviews and creators. Like, so who's going to be sent the product, who's going to be leaving reviews on Sephora for us. But that also relates to me because I'm keeping track of how reviews are looking on Sephora and our website. Rumesa is looking at social and partnerships, but it all goes together because we're launching a community program soon. And we're like, how do we talk to our consumer across all touch points? Whether it's email, social, website. And so it becomes a lot. Everything is fun because everything is new.
Yeah.
We never want to copy something that exists. So half the time we're just like, how do we do this? Like, should we just like
let's have a creative session and think about
wing it and like let's just call it the foundation stick and like not call it anything buzzy because like that's what it is. Like we get to take a lot of chances.
Yeah.
But back to the finances, because we don't have an investor breathing down our neck and we're not held to you have to do X, Y, and Z. It gives us the freedom again to like make mistakes, but also experience wins off of like pure grit, not off of the money, but like off of like our blood, sweat, and tears, like putting work into making something come to life.
I was going to say, how do you feel about social media? Because I want to go back to, I love the fact that you don't have a huge social media presence personally. Basma does. And I find founders get stuck in that building a business, building a personal brand, have to be all over the place. But you're very clear on, it seems like, the mission and what you're building. Do you get caught up in like, oh my God, I should, the founders are doing this and that. Is that a thing?
No, I'm very happy like not being known. Like I'm very, that's Basma. And Basma hates doing that stuff, but I'm like, dude, it's Basma Beauty. Like everybody wants to talk to her. So like I get kind of lucky in that, like even back to my journalism days, I like being the producer. I like being able to plan and like execute a vision. I don't need to be the face and I prefer not to be. So even on my social, like sometimes like when I do post about work, sometimes it's like because I see somebody and I'm like, oh crap, like maybe I need to. Like maybe
I need to post in 6 months to say I'm doing this.
And then other times I'm just like, well, no, like I don't want people to know my personal life. So like I struggle with, should I make it public? Should I make it private? I'm like, well, I'm not going to post my kids if it's public. I don't want people looking at my 5-year-old and my 7-year-old. So it's like
I respect that.
I wrestle, and I used to before, but now that like I know some creators are following me and then I'm just like, oh, like they think I'm something, like I have to like live you know what I mean?
Yeah, I totally know what you mean. What's next for Basma? So you guys just did a launch at Sephora. I know we just went over your bag. Can you talk to us about the product that you guys just launched?
Yes. So it's called the Blurring Gloss Bomb, and this was I actually posted it about it. Like, I think it was like December 2023 when we were trying lab samples, which I still have in my
2023.
bag.
Wow.
2023. Yeah, it was like November, I think, when we were playing with different formulas. So it's a first to market 3-in-1 product. So it has the hydration of a lip balm. It has the high shine of a gloss, and it has the pigment of a lipstick. So when we were coming up with like a lip product, Basma was like, Basma will drop dead before she launches something that's like anything else. So she's like, if we're going to drop a lip product, it cannot be just a lip oil. It cannot be just like a tinted lip gloss. Like, we don't want to do that. Like, let's come up with something that bridges all the gaps so that maybe you can reduce your lip routine, which is like now a thing.
Yeah, because I'm looking. My daughter does like 3 lip liners, then a lighter shade in the middle.
It's a science. It's like an art that I'm just like, whoa, like this is like a lot of work. Like let's not.
Give me that one product.
Yes. So this essentially does that. And so on top of it being that 3-in-1, it has blurring technology. So it'll soften the fine lines on your lips to give you like a more seamless pout. But again, like the most important thing about this product is the hydration, because so many lip products you'll try, like I think we have a tendency to think, oh, like I put this lip balm on like 6 times a day. And it's like, if you're putting it on 6 times a day, that means it's not working. Like, it's not because you love it. It's because your lips are like desperately need, like it dries out after wearing it. I love this product because once the pigment wears off or the gloss wears off, it settles into what looks like a stain. But that hydration, like your lips will feel softer at the end of the day than it did before you put it on.
Sounds like a magical product.
It is. And it's honestly, there's vitamin E, there's castor oil. So it's like the ingredients back up that hydration.
I love it. I'm going to go get it.
Mauve.
Because that's what happens to me every day. Like I start this podcast, by the time I get home, my lips are chapped, they're dry. And also I'm 40 now. So I find like the fine lines, having sunscreen, just like taking care of my lips better.
Which is a thing. Like, did you
it is a thing. Clearly, thank God I have a 19-year-old that's teaching me all of these things. I feel like we've gone way over time, which I'm completely happy with. But I want to talk about some skincare and beauty quick like questions I want to ask you as quick as we can get. I feel like I need to bring you back for so much more because we can keep talking and talking, I'm sure. What are some tips for glowing skin, the perfect no makeup look with your products?
Oh, with our products?
Yes.
Okay. So number 1, skincare is everything. It does not matter how magical a product is. Like your skin needs to be hydrated. So drinking water and using skincare that's suited towards your skin type. So if you're more dry, you need to use something that's extremely hydrating. If you're oily, you need to use something that's going to help mattify your skin. So number 1, understanding your skin type. 2, specifically with the foundation stick, because that's the base, that's normally what everyone puts on first, is you might not need as much product as you think. I think people have this tendency, especially with the stick or even foundation in general, they just kind of like lather it on, they draw, but really you don't need that much. Like you can focus your product on the areas where you feel you need a little bit more love. And that's all you need for your base. I think if you're going out to a wedding and you want to have something a little bit fuller, I mean, that's like a different story. Yeah. But for a day-to-day, just focus on the areas that you need love. That's it. And again, skincare and like keeping your skin hydrated is so important.
I know. I think it's great that there's so much more education around skincare now, but truly that is why it glows, right? And then when you add product on top of it, it just makes it that much more flawless. You told me about your tips. So are we really applying castor oil all over our face?
Okay.
Like for moisture, like should I be doing that tonight?
I don't know. Don't listen to anything. Don't listen to anything.
I'm gonna tag you in a photo of me looking like a donut, a glazed donut, and be like, "You told me to do this." I mean,
that works for me. Okay, I'll be honest. As a beauty founder, I find skincare very overwhelming.
Yes,
very overwhelming. Like
I'm glad to hear that.
Every other day, I research like do I need retinol? Like how do I start using retinol? Like is my skin gonna purge itself? And I'm like, no, forget it. I'm not ready for this. Like, but I want, like, it's just very overwhelming. So, and for me, I'm very lucky. I don't have sensitive skin. So if I'm looking for a hydration, I've been putting for years, castor
clearly
oil
it's working. Your skin is glowing.
Thank you. I drink a lot of water too.
Okay.
2 liters of water and castor oil. That is my
that's
saving
the
grace.
trick, guys. That's the trick.
But don't do it. Don't tag me. Don't tell me if it didn't work.
Just make sure you tag her when you do it.
It's gonna be like this V word. Like,
what is a beauty hack that you currently love? Any hacks? Are we into any hacks?
yeah, just use your products for more. Like
Don't need so many, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like I use my foundation stick. I use shade 20, and then I use shade 14 to contour with. But I also use it on my eyelids as like an eyeshadow.
Okay, so what are you wearing right now?
Okay,
what's
so
the makeup?
I'm wearing shade 20 of the foundation stick.
Okay,
I'm wearing shade mauve in our blush.
okay.
We may or may not have a powder bronzer coming out soon, maybe. So I'm wearing that over top my cream contour, which is shade 14.
Okay. So contour first.
Yeah. So what I do is I use my foundation stick as my contour.
Okay.
And then I put my blush because it's a cream blush.
Okay. And then you go in with the powder.
Once I set it, so like then I set my under eye because
Okay.
usually that's where I get oily and my concealer always moves. Then I go in with my cream blush again because this product, the cream blush works beautifully over setting powder. And if anything, because you have setting powder on your face, it gives the cream formula something to latch onto. So it almost lasts even longer. Like that.
I'm gonna try that.
That cream blush lasts like 12 hours. Like it's not gonna move. And then I go in with a little bit of a powder bronzer.
Okay. The blush is where it's at.
This cream blush, I'm telling you. Like,
I need to get this.
It is magical. Magical.
Also, I want to talk about the fact that like in your late 30s, right? I keep hearing like I find that now my makeup is less and it looks better. So you don't really need so many products. And I think the tricks of how to apply and these little tricks that you just shared is so important because I haven't done the setting powder and then put your cream blush over it. I'm going to try that.
It'll change your makeup and then you won't need as much too.
Yeah. Okay. What is your approach to makeup in a world full of filters? How do we embrace beauty that lets skin shine through? What are your thoughts around that?
So I could like speak an hour on this.
We're gonna speak 0.1 minute on this.
So here's the thing. Filters, I'm not a fan of personally, just because I think it can send the wrong message to everybody. And it can make anyone feel like, oh, like that person looks perfect. I want to look like them. However, I don't think one person is in a position to say what another person can or can't do because we don't know their story. If someone looked at Basma and was like, why do you wear makeup every day? Well, I mean, she went through a 3rd-degree burn. Like, who am I to say, like, no, don't put a filter if it makes you feel good because, like, be like me and I'm, like, bare-faced and la, la, la. You know, like, I almost feel like you should do whatever makes you feel happy. However, education has to be at the root of everything, especially young females. Like understanding like, yes, filters, like use filters, but it is not real. Like you cannot go get plastic surgery to look like a filter because that is not healthy. But like filters, like I don't love it, but like I understand it. And if it makes you happy, go for it.
When you think about your life now, where you're at, and you think about where Basma will go and you tie in your future self and where you want to be, what type of life, when you think about a rich and wealthy life, what does that translate for you in terms of physical presence, spiritual presence, and just overall in your life?
I think you just said it. I think having the luxury of being able to be present, because I feel like I'm not present half the time because I'm thinking about what I need to do to make ends meet or what I need to do to accomplish X for my kids or what I need to do to accomplish the next step of the business. I would love to be in a position where I can be present knowing that everything else is where it needs to be. I don't need to put in those sacrifices to get to that next level. Like I want to be healthy. I want to be with my kids and I want a business that is growing steadily, not at a pace where it can't be maintained. But again, just being present, that is where I want to be.
I know we talk so much about like wanting to be present, but you're right. It's like just be the present.
I don't know how, I don't know if I'm ever really present anywhere.
Yeah.
Which is really sad, but I guess like hopefully.
It's the effort. It's a conscious decision to be more present. I don't think you can just be, but when you make a decision, I'm putting my phone away. That's
it's the
called,
phone.
yeah, well, all our businesses ran on there, but thank you for being on the podcast today. We are very, very happy to have you.
Thank you for having me.